A legacy is not just what you leave for people. A legacy is something you leave in people. One more time. A legacy is not just something you leave for people. A legacy is something you leave in people. A quote from Peter Struppel. Also, John Maxwell has been credited with saying that as well. You know, in a time and an era like this where consensus is so hard to reach across the board, I think we all are clearly aware of this. One thing is pretty clear, that as we approach the road to 2028, as we get closer and closer to the games, we know these games are not just about live events. As cool as and important as live events can be, these games are about a legacy. A legacy. We know these games are not just about medals, but these games are about a movement towards upward mobility for people throughout this region, throughout the city, and throughout the state. I've been very fortunate to get a chance to sit down with some people who have made incredible impacts around the world, and particularly in this country. One of them is a civil rights icon who helped bring the most recent Summer Games to the United States. Some of you may be familiar with Ambassador Andrew Young. I've gotten a chance to sit down with him a couple of times. The most recent time I sat down with him, I quizzed him about what it was like to try to get the Olympic Games to Atlanta exactly 30 years ago. And he shared with me how much of a challenge that was. But if you think back to 1996, the summer of 96, when the games landed in Atlanta, Atlanta was a medium-sized city, sort of a large city, but it wasn't known around the world as it is today. The games transformed Atlanta into something completely different. It brought it to a whole nother level within the state, within the country, and across the globe. That can happen here as well. We can take Los Angeles, California, as a state to even another level. You think about it a little bit more. Atlanta, its airport, in 1996, wasn't known around the world. Hartsfield Airport, probably 5th or 6th ranked airport in the United States at the time. By 1999, Hartsfield International became the busiest airport in the world. Today, roughly 106, 107 million passengers a year. LAX, roughly 75, 78 million. So, 25, 30 million more passengers than LAX, the busy LAX that we all know and hear about. They transformed their main Olympic venue, the main stadium. They transformed it into Turner Field, where the Atlanta Braves started to play baseball. It later transformed or transitioned to where Georgia State University plays a lot of their sports games, the football games. So repurposed their stadium. They came up with the idea of a belt line from those games. How many people are familiar with the belt line in Atlanta? You ever heard of this? Only a few people. Interesting. 22 miles of trails now connect 45 communities, neighborhoods across the city of Atlanta where people can walk and bike. They're building a light rail to also support that system. Yes. So, again, they left some things behind, but more importantly, they left behind a new belief. Matt Peterson and Russell Westbrook, they touched on this a little bit. A new belief about the city of Atlanta. They started building mixed-use developments all across the city. we can do similar things here as well in Los Angeles as we bring on the games. There's some people that have been doing incredible work that I have to thank for not only this event, but preparing for the games. First, again, to Matt Peterson and to Russell Westbrook for chairing this effort and for inviting me and inviting several state leaders to come and be a part of this, and to the Lacey team all around the room. Please give them a hand again for the incredible work that they're doing. Also very important, we've been hearing a lot about the LA 28 team, but also there's a city government team that's behind them. The Mayor Bass and her team, they've been doing really good work. We've been partnering with them at the state, thankful for what they're doing. Also, organizations that are partnered with the city that are part of government, like SCAG. Also, yeah, some people may know SCAG, Komi Ajise, the director of SCAG. They've been doing incredible work. LA Metro, LA DOT, just to name a few, MetroLink. All these organizations within this region handling transportation work, I've been impressed by in all the meetings and engagements that I've had with them. But also, at the state level, it's been mentioned already, I got to give a lot of kudos and a lot of credit to my boss, to the governor of the state. He's been making some important decisions that are going to impact the games in exactly 2 years. First of all, before I get to the last thing that was mentioned, just about 2 weeks ago, he signed an executive order on transit, public transportation for the state, asking us and all the state entities and some local governments as well to do more work to advance public transportation investments, improve regulations and policies on public transit in this state. He signed that executive order just very recently. And again, you've heard repeatedly already, just yesterday, he signed a bill that's going to incentivize the deployment or adoption of more zero-emission vehicles across the state. Roughly $300 million. More than $2,000 for new ZEVs. Nearly $2,000 for old zero-emission vehicle or used zero-emission vehicles. All these things are going to make a difference as we get closer and closer to the game. So to all those folks, to the local partners, to the nonprofits, to our state government partners like GoBiz, CEC, CARB, to all of them, please give them a round of applause again for the incredible work that they're doing. I'll say two brief things. I know I'm going to get the sign here in a second. Two brief things about some other things that we're doing in state government. One, transit has to be, as I mentioned about the governor already, transit has to be a critical part, of the games. Kudos to the mayor and her team, the city team, who've already announced that from the start. And we're going to continue to do everything from our end to make sure that transit is the mode to be able to get around for the upcoming games. But there's also something else that's really important, and that's technology. These are going to be the AI games, the first AI games, if you will. Technology will be a huge part of how we're able to move people around, from everything from synchronizing signals to using camera systems to manage traffic across the state to make it safer for people to be able to move. So transit and technology will be absolutely essential in the middle of being able to keep people safe and secure and mobile for a very intense 1.2 additional million trips that are going to come into the city in exactly 2 years during the Olympic Games. So even though I won't be in this role, the governor will not be in this role in exactly 2 years, we are doing everything we can to establish that foundation to make sure that we not just leave something behind for the people of this region for the games, but we leave that belief system in people for exactly what they want their future to be. Thank you very much.